From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, May the 30th, 2018. We open with the situation in southern Israel, which appears, as of the time of this report, to have quieted down some. Following incessant rocket fire all day and night yesterday and into the early morning hours today from Gaza, the IDF said at least 100 rockets and mortars were fired by Gaza terror groups Hamas and Islamic Jihad at Israel, some exploding and some intercepted by the Iron Dome missile defense system. One rocket hit an Israeli home in the Eshkol Regional Council near the Gaza border early this morning. There were no injuries, though there was damage. IDF spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Conricus reported from the scene and posted this video today to the IDF Twitter page.
Good morning from Israel. Another morning, another rocket attack. Yesterday it was a kindergarten that was hit directly with a mortar from Gaza. Today it's a civilian house. We're in a small community close to the Gaza Strip. This is a normal family house that you can see, and this is the tool shed just next to it, and you can see that there is an impact here. A rocket went through that roof, landed here. Luckily, no Israeli civilians were hurt or injured, despite the fact that Hamas has fired more than 100 rockets aiming at the Israeli civilians and trying to kill Israeli civilians. We've been able to defend and intercept most of those rockets, and the situation today remains stable, but it depends entirely on what Hamas will try to do. If Hamas will try to escalate the situation, the IDF is ready and prepared to respond. Quiet will be met with quiet, but terror will be met with a firm response.
Israel, meanwhile, conducted retaliatory strikes on terror positions in Gaza and vowed to continue to defend Israel's citizens. Later today, there appeared to be a hold of fire from both sides, with Israel saying it was prepared to refrain from any further strikes in Gaza if Gaza's terror groups halted their attacks on Israel. There were also reports that Egypt had brokered this informal ceasefire, though those reports were not confirmed. And more condemnation was heard from the international community on the attacks on Israel, many specifically noting the kindergarten that was hit yesterday, just an hour before children were set to arrive. The spokesperson for European Union Chief Federica Mogherini wrote on social media that rocket and mortar fire by Palestinian militants from Gaza towards Israel must stop immediately. Indiscriminate attacks against civilians are completely unacceptable under any circumstances. EU Ambassador to Israel Emmanuel Giffrey echoed the sentiment. UN Special Coordinator for the Middle East peace process Nikolai Mladenov called the attacks unacceptable, saying they undermine the serious efforts by the international community to improve the situation in Gaza. Germany's embassy in Israel said there is no justification under any circumstances for the continuation of the massive mortar attack on Israel from Gaza, adding that especially malicious was the firing of a large portion of the rockets at Israeli cities and communities exactly during the hours of heavy traffic when people go to work, also noting the kindergarten. Last night, the United States called for an emergency session of the United Nations Security Council over the firing of rockets at Israel from Gaza. U.S. Ambassador to the UN Nikki Haley said the Security Council should be outraged and respond to this latest bout of violence directed at innocent Israeli civilians, and the Palestinian leadership needs to be held accountable for what they're allowing to happen in Gaza. Israel's ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, wrote on his Twitter page that the meeting, which was set for today, was a positive step, but also called on the Security Council to do more, writing that acts of terror must be met also with action. The Security Council should condemn Hamas and designate it a terrorist organization. Hamas, he said, must be fought with the same tools used against al-Qaeda and ISIS. And switching gears now, Israeli marine researchers announced yesterday the first ever documented visit of a blue whale in the Gulf of Eilat, Israel's southernmost city on the Red Sea. The blue whale is the largest of all whale species, and the one seen yesterday was said to have a length of up to 20 meters, about 65 feet. It was spotted for a few hours, presumably looking for food, about 1,000 feet from the beach in Eilat, before it moved south to Egypt. Researchers noted that whales have been seen in the Gulf of Eilat before, but never of this size, calling it a very rare occurrence. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, May the 30th, 2018. I'm Teisha Bader.